I was really getting it. I was actually pulling up articles from the past to reference while I was doing this. I didn't notate it on here, but I was actually doing that. And I said, okay, I think I'm ready for September. Like I'm ready to start September.
Okay.
So what, yeah, well, we'll talk about that after I do this, but, yeah, I don't know. And it wasn't even, I wasn't thinking of it in the sense of, okay, I don't know if this is what Dr. Blaze is looking for, but this is what I think is going to help me. That's how I got, like, I was in that space and I was just ready to talk about whatever it is that needed to be talked about because I knew I was doing this because I knew this would help me. I know you gave me the assignment, but it's like I was owning it. Like I felt good because I owned what I was doing. So I was like, okay, I think I'm feeling how this is supposed to go right now.
Yes.
So before it was usually, I don't know if this is right. I'm gonna go ahead and put this down, but I don't know if she gonna want me to do it like this. And I don't know if but this time it was just like, okay, I'm gonna do it like this because I know this is what makes sense to me. And I could transfer this onto whatever I need to do. And then I could just explain to Dr. Blaze what it is that we got going on. And she can just kind of help me work it from here. So I was kind of proud of myself for that.
Oh, I'm very proud of you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That synthesizing the research, making it make sense for you, even being in a place to know what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. As opposed to just, I have to see this template or else I can't move.
Right.
So it's huge for you to be able to say, this is what makes sense to me, and then stand
Right.
in it and then get this much stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really, really big.
Because what I thought was I was going to take this paper, then get my cards and put it together to be able to get my 10 points ready to move. So and I know this is only just one theme, but I figured if I could take this thing and work it with all my themes, then I could move through it like I need to. And then when it's time to do stuff, I don't have to sit back and say, oh, well, is this right? Or maybe Dr. Blaze don't want it like this. Or, I kind of kept you in the forefront. Like I was holding on to your confidence and I didn't have any.
Wow.
But when I did this, I had my own confidence with it, knowing that my coach is going to be on the side saying, okay, well, let's change this. Let's fix that. So it's just like I reversed it. Like I put myself in the front and I had never done that before. So
kudos. I love it. And I hate I didn't even have time to dig into it after you done did all this.
Well, I didn't, and I didn't get, and when I turned it in, I say, we probably gonna have to go over this on Sunday morning because it's not enough time. But I had to give it to you. I wasn't going to just sit on it. So,
well, like I said before, without even knowing all of this part of it, just the fact that you have consistently sent me something, like the last 4 or 5 meetings?
Yeah.
You have sent me something before every single meeting. So that is huge.
Yeah.
You telling me the backstory of this, that is big freaking time, Anita. If you continue how you're going, I definitely feel like when you get back in school, we're gonna be
ready to go.
Amazing.
Yeah. And actually I was scroll up. Let me see. I had stopped actually about right before the experience, what is that? I want to touch my screen. Well, this first page, I had stopped there and I was going to send this to you Wednesday, but then I woke up Thursday and it hit me with something else. And that's what happened. And I didn't want to send it in parts. So that's what happened. Because I was using the top to help me kind of do the bottom. So that's really why you ended up getting it on Friday night or Saturday morning or whenever I said
research, girl.
Huh?
I said, get inspired by that research. You better be thinking about that research when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah. Like, oh. It was just like, I don't know. But anyway, so where you want me to start?
Okay, well,
do you want to get that article or do you want me to just explain from my place or?
I would love it if you could, I guess, just kind of talk me through this summary,
Okay.
and then we can see if we need to jump into the articles, because maybe whatever feedback I give you from here, you go back into the articles, or maybe we need to go in them together. I don't know, but you can just
Okay.
kind of talk me through this. Would it be easier for you to share your screen and scroll yourself, or how you want to
Okay,
do
maybe.
it? Okay. Do you want me to forward you back the email with the documents?
No, I could, you got your own little, I got my own little coaching, what's that called? My own little coaching assignment folders.
Oh, okay.
So everything is where it need to be, hopefully. I might have spoke too soon and be talking reckless, but we'll see. And then okay, so put that down and share my screen.
Oh, man.
It says you disabled it.
Gotta give you permission. There you go.
All right. We good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so from the first article, what I did was I just kind of summarized what was needed, like what I just needed from that section, because the section was really let's see. Are you coughing? No, I'm in the wrong one. Is there anything in there? All right, so this came from understanding the role of modeling that curriculum is something curriculum materials. Okay, so it was a section that was highlighted. So modeling instruction and teaching elementary grades K through 6 is an effective way of developing pre-service teachers, subject matter knowledge. Valuable contributors to pre-service teachers' subject matter knowledge is participating in model lesson activities using ECM materials during field experiences. So that comes out. Do you want to see? I'm not even gonna ask you. I'm just gonna pull it up. Like,
what is the ECM?
It's something curriculum materials.
Okay.
I don't know if it's educative science. Listen to me. Educative science curriculum materials. Okay. ECM, educative curriculum materials. That's what it is. Educated curriculum materials. Okay. So in this one, where's my GC? Oh, there it is. What are you doing down there? This is developing elementary. Okay, so that comes from this this part right here, all the way to here. And I summarized that paragraph.
You put all of this is what you just told me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's from that paragraph. Yes. That's what I pulled out from there. And it took a minute to do it, but I just kept looking at the notes. And then and another thing I wanted to ask you, just to make a note. So because I can't use second sources, but when I go into the literature review of the articles, you know, some good stuff in there, right? Mm-hmm. So Dr. Watley told me if I use those sources, I have to actually go and read those articles. Mm-hmm. But you know, when you go back and you read the articles from the second sources, what they've done is they've paraphrased, so you can't really find what they're talking about. You just know that comes from a second source. So should I be concerned, even though I think I found like good information, should I really like pay attention to those? Or that's just a question I wanted to ask you. I probably should have saved it for later.
Okay.
After we go through this, maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Okay. All right, so that was from there. And then unpacking personal identities. This was the section development of teacher identity within the context of teacher preparation programs. So these were the two big ideas I got from there. And these are all paraphrased. So the significance of a student teacher training program. And I need to change this to teacher prep because you told me to stay with my language. So I gotta fix that because we don't want no reason to say that I was not aligned.
Girl, that's their favorite word.
Girl, teacher training program is to develop pre-service teachers' aptitude through courses of instructional planning, classroom management, assessment, and learner development. In addition, there are field experiences which provide an opportunity to develop these competencies within a classroom environment. So that came from page 101, paragraph 1. So I referenced that so you could go back and look and see how well I paraphrase that. That's the only reason why I did that. Like your mama want to say Dr. Blaze. Okay, so that's from unpacking. Let me see.
Show me, honey.
Unpacking. Okay, so that came from, let me see what notes did I, teacher education program, organized learning opportunities to help develop. Okay, so that came from here. And I think I did it from these two. I paraphrased from here, so maybe I should split my screen so you can see that.
I saw some line in there, something about a theoretical construct. That caught my eye. As much as your Dr. Watler used to love to ask about your construct.
Yeah, she always asking about stuff that I feel like ain't her business to be asking. It's like, that is not your business. Leave that alone. Let me see. I'm trying to make it where. Can you see that screen okay? You good? Right there? Okay. So there we go, side by side. Look at me though. Oh. Okay, there we go. Okay. So this and this are here. All right. So and this is big enough for you. You able to, because sometimes when you share, you can't really tell what's going on.
Yeah, I can definitely.
Okay, so my sticky note here was how can this be used? How can this be used to support the idea that pre-service teachers and prep there is a conflict in conception of effective STEM teaching. However, PSTs construct their own vision based on a STEM discipline awareness. I don't know why I wrote that. I'm not quite sure. Seems like a good idea though, but I don't know why I said it.
Oh, hold on, let me, because I was going to give you props. I was like, oh, you over here asking your own thought-provoking.
Yeah, I put it there and I'm like, teacher education programs organize learning opportunities to help develop pre-service teachers, instructional planning, classroom management, assessments, and learning development are competencies most programs capitalize on to deepen the context of school and classroom. Girl, who wrote this?
Anita. Girl, you about like me on all of my posts. I said
Like, who said this? I'm trying to see if I copied it somewhere and I didn't. Okay. I think these were just notes that I was writing. Okay, I think this was a paraphrase here and I paraphrased it over here. I think that's what happened. And then this is a question that I was asking.
I like that question. I wanted
Okay, you want me to come back, go back to it?
I'd like to see it again.
Okay. That's not it. I don't know why I can't pull my sticky note up. Maybe I gotta come over here and pull it up. It's like it's another sticky note and I can't get to it.
Oh, they right there, right by each other.
Yeah, they're right by each other and I can't get to it. Oh, here it is. How can this be used to support the idea that PST and preparation, there is a conflicting conception of effective STEM teaching? I don't know. However, PST construct their own vision based on their STEM discipline awareness. Okay, so I think they're talking about, I don't know how I wrote this, but I think, prospective teachers in their preparation reconcile often conflicting conceptions of effective mathematics teaching and construct their own vision of what high quality math instruction should entail. So I think I was asking, how can I use this and use it for STEM teachers? So they're saying that mathematics teaching, and they construct their own vision of what high quality instruction looks like. So the things that I've been reading is like STEM teachers have the same issue.
Yeah. Okay, so I think,
and science teachers, anybody that's in a STEM field for teaching, they have the same issues, which mathematics is a STEM discipline. So how can I generalize that for like the whole gamut of STEM?
What you'll say is something to the effect of, the reason essentially why there is this conflicting conception of effective STEM teaching is because each of the individual disciplines within STEM constructs their own vision of what it is, as opposed to looking for some collective idea of what, or concept, because that's the word you use.
Okay.
Rather than looking for some common concept of effective STEM teaching, each one of the discipline kind of retreats into their subject and they base their ideas off of that.
Okay. Which takes us to that normative and personal identity.
Yep. So essentially what's happening is each of the disciplines are branching off and really going by a personal and not trying to, I don't know, develop, conform with, or whatever, a normative.
Okay.
That's why you don't have a normative, is because math is going in their little hole, science going in theirs, and so on and so forth.
Which is why I guess you can say that there's so much apprehension when you get ready to take a teacher and say, okay, now you have to teach STEM.
Correct. Because all I know is the math part.
Right.
I don't know nothing about the other parts of it. And I know y'all want to say I'm STEM, but
right.
That's why those Facebook posts hit me so hard when those teachers were like, I wouldn't call myself a scientist, but some of them said they would.
Right.
I thought, oh my goodness.
And I've done that. When I taught middle school science, they'll say, oh, Miss A. Johnson, you're a scientist. I'm like, no, I'm a science teacher. I wouldn't call myself a scientist because I didn't understand chemistry that well, or I didn't understand, when I had to teach 8th grade science, it was like, oh no, y'all need to find another teacher because these kids ain't gonna learn nothing. But when I taught my 6th graders, I was good because it was mostly physical science and environmental science. So I was good. But then when you got into 8th grade, you had a whole nother science that you had to deal with. So I told people, I say, I'm a science teacher and I like science. I am definitely not a scientist. So I understand that. But in reading this, I see where, because it was one article where they had conversations with teachers about STEM, being a STEM teacher, and how uncomfortable they felt, going in and saying they were good in math, but having to say, okay, you want me to teach STEM? And then what I also noticed is that what the teachers do, they gravitate, like you say, to that one subject. Like for me, STEM would probably just be science and technology. I would leave the engineering and the math alone.
Yeah.
But then because I would say, okay, I'm teaching STEM, but I'm not teaching STEM because that means you got to incorporate all of those disciplines into one and work them, as a collective and not as individuals. So yeah, that's what it was really interesting to read. I got caught up in the articles that had the interviews with the teachers. So, but anyway, so I guess that's what that was in there.
Okay, so I want you to look for something, and I need to make a note of this because I don't want to forget to put it in your notes. So let me bring up a little Word document here. I want you
I think I just made up a word. I've made up a phrase, collective discipline. What in the world? Okay.
Okay, so this is what a connection that needs to be made. And you're gonna need to find some resources to support this. Okay. But when we're talking about STEM education and people basically just kind of going off into their STEM corners, if you will. Let me write that down. The 4 corners of STEM, baby. That sounds like an article.
What's that?
The 4 corners of STEM.
Oh yeah, that sounds like something that needs to be researched.
That's an article right there, honey.
That's it right there. Oh yes, Dr. Blades.
Oh, she finna work on that.
Okay. The 4 corners of STEM.
Rather than having these teachers, retreat into their 4 corners, but we need something that talks about. I saw this in a group that I'm in that said STEM is not a thing you learn, it's a culture. And if we think about it, STEM is really just, if we're doing all 4 of it, if we're doing it integrated. So if we think about NGSS and how we're supposed to integrate, and one lesson might have some biology, chemistry, and physics in it, because those recurring themes. So if we are doing STEM that way, it is a culture. It's a way of thinking. It's a process of thinking. It's not a set of subjects or a set of facts or it's a way of thinking. We need to pull that idea into your research, because if we can show that STEM is a way of thinking, then that connects to the fact that these teachers need a normative identity within STEM. We all need to be thinking the same way. Instead of these personal identities, we could have a normative identity if we were to realize that STEM is a way of thinking. So it doesn't matter if we're focused on the math, the science, the engineering, the technology. It's a way of thinking, and then really it's a way to address problems. And it just so happens that the science, the math, the technology, and the engineering are the modes that we use to solve these problems. You know, so I think that would help push the agenda of the normative identity if we can just bring something in that says, STEM is not really a thing, but it's a way of thinking. I like the way they put it on that thing. It's a culture. Let me see if I can find that. Um, Girl, it'd be so much stuff. I'd be like, ooh, this is a neat dissertation right here.
When we started doing this, because the level that I was on before, I couldn't get past that. And I'm so glad that my advisor pushed me and said, you have to level up your research on a more organizational sense, because I was in the classroom. I was just dealing with, because my previous research was using language arts strategies in order to understand science context. That was where I was. And she said that was on a lower level of, it was on a classroom base. She said I needed to get it more on an organizational type. And I probably could have took that to an organizational level, but I didn't really know how to do it. But I'm glad I went this route because I'm learning so much. And I feel like from this research, I can actually go into the higher education field and go into those education departments, and I can actually contribute something to what they're doing, with their teachers that's coming in, because we actually have like 2 STEM schools here. So now the thing is STEM schools, like they have STEM elementary schools, STEM high schools that, that kids can attend. They're not magnet. They're moving out. You know how magnet schools were just like the big deal?
Yeah.
That's how it is with STEM schools now. It seems like that's what they're doing. So they actually want STEM teachers now.
I would be curious to know. I would be very interested in these STEM schools, and do they focus on the thought process, or do they focus on doing projects that are considered STEM?
Right.
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 A lot of summer camps will be like, oh, this is STEM camp.
And it's all projects.
And they do like little individual experiments every day, but they don't teach like the concepts and the thinking behind it. The kids just see it and they think, oh, STEM is just fun. And they don't realize the thinking behind it. So I would be really interested to look into what they're teaching. But I just sent you that quote.
Yeah, I got it. It just came through my phone. Because I know my grandsons are in a camp and they do the 30-minute of STEM activities a day. And I asked them what they're doing. And it's just little projects that they're doing, to keep them interested. And then they had a STEM summer at my school. And that's really what it was. They were actually, which I don't like, when they throw that art in there with the STEAM thing, it just make me feel some kind of way. But
feeling it, Anita.
Yeah, because they focus all on the art, and they leave the science and the technology and the engineering and then math out. They leave all of that out. They just focus on the art part, and they try to they don't incorporate art into the science and the technology. They incorporate the science and technology into the art, and they like focus on the art, and then you don't get the science part of it, and that just irritates me.
Well, I think people, when they do that, it's just because it's popular to say STEAM.
It is.
And that's all it is.
And that's all it is. And I'm just like,
I'm just turning the fan on. I can hear you.
because I know I had said I was talking to somebody about my dissertation, and one of the teachers, and she was like, "Oh my God, what does that mean?" So I started explaining it to her, and she was like, and I mentioned STEM, and she said, or STEAM, and I said, no, STEM. I'm not doing nothing with STEAM. No, you don't know what you're talking about. Be quiet. So
You don't see any employers saying STEAM careers.
exactly.
You don't see that. You do not see, and unless they change, but I haven't seen, when I look at, there are these STEM jobs that are not filled. So many STEM jobs are not filled. I do not see no employers talking about, we got these STEAM jobs that need to be filled.
Exactly. It's just something, and I think that's just something education did to try to include something that just was unnecessary, because really.
Yeah, maybe to make it less intimidating, possibly.
Yeah, and for the teachers, it's like, no, but anywho, that's neither here nor there. My own personal opinion. Okay, so I got that. I'm gonna look at that. So then the next bullet, teacher identity serves as a tool to understand the reasons behind teachers changing the way they teach instruction. And I just thought that was just a really good, I don't know, I never thought about that. How they identify, or their self-efficacy, because that's really their belief system, their awareness, and all of that. How they teach, and that's a true statement. I mean, for me, I'm not saying, that it can't be argued. I'm just saying that I've experienced it. For teacher prep programs, identity offers the exploration of learning from the pre-service teacher's perspective. And I thought about, this is a good intro for identity, of why identity self-efficacy is vital part to awareness of integrated STEM in teacher preparation programs. You see me?
Come on, segue.
You see me, Dr. Blake?
Come on, I'm finna intro in. Come on, girl.
So I guess when I was thinking about this, and then that's when I got down here and I started. So this is paraphrased. These are paraphrased from 103 to 104. So that's here. I just looked at these three things here, and I kind of just brought them together. Pre-service teachers' normative identities are shaped by the expectations put before them by their teacher prep programs and their field experiences. So those are that's how I define those, based on what was here. And then pre-service teachers' personal identities are shaped by their own expectations and experiences that may or may not align with the expectations put before them by their teacher preparation programs. Pre-service teachers, pre-service teachers may enter field experiences with normative identities and might use instructional strategies that have not been implemented or valued in the community they are teaching. In that community. So that, I think these two were the ones that I wasn't too sure about, but I put them down anyway, and if I needed to.
So when you say they enter field experiences with normative identities, you're saying they're walking into an environment that has a pre-established normative identity, not that they're coming in with a normative identity.
Right.
Okay, so we need to rephrase that.
Okay.
Because it's almost like a contradiction to what you just said.
Okay.
The one before it is saying they have their own personal identity shaped by their own expectations. And then this sentence says they may enter field experiences with. So you need to say pre-service teachers may enter field experiences where normative identities have been pre-established.
Okay.
And might use instructional strategies that have not been implemented or valued in the community they are teaching. Are you saying they're coming into these places where there is a normative identity and then they're being asked to do
Okay,
stuff they haven't done before, or
no, I'm saying that they're coming in to these field experiences with their own idea about how these things should be taught. And they're going to use those okay, so this is the example.
oh, I
I'm
see.
coming out of my coursework
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going into a school to do my field experiences.
Yep.
My coursework has taught me something.
Okay.
So when I come in with this, I have this idea of what my coursework has already given me. And then I get into this community and I'm finding out, oh, I can't, I'm either going to agree with what they want, what they got going on in this school, or I'm going to fight this because I want to do what they taught me. So,
okay, so I'm coming in, and this place has its own set of norms,
right,
but I'm gonna come in here and teach you how I know how to teach it.
right.
It
And
might
now
not
I have a conflict because
okay.
my STEM teacher that I'm under, you know, she has a way of doing things, and but my coursework taught me this over here. And now
I think I might simplify this.
okay.
Pre-service teachers may enter field experiences where normative identities have been pre-established and attempt to use strategies that do not align with those norms. Okay, leave that in parentheses, the rest of it,
Okay.
because maybe we might do something else with it. But essentially, now it makes it sound okay. Now these three bullets flow. Just the way it was worded almost made it sound like the teacher was bringing the normative identity, and I knew that from the previous bullet. The teacher was bringing the personal identity.
Right.
Girl, if that was not me when I first started teaching, Sprayberry High School, they was set in their ways, and I was coming out of college, and I was like, I'm
right.
gonna do this shit they talking about. I'm gonna do it how I learned it when I was in school. And girl, it was a problem. They transferred my ass out of that after the first year. They said, we don't really think that you're a good fit for this team. And girl, I had done already looked up some other schools that needed science teacher. Girl, they was serious about getting my ass out of there. They was like, this school, and that school might be a better fit for you. And now that I look back on it was nothing but racial microaggressions because it was definitely 3 majority Black schools.
Yeah. I was gonna say you coming in.
It was like I don't over there with them other Black folk.
Yeah, and then they probably had a problem with you coming in and being so knowledgeable. They didn't expect it.
Oh yeah,
and they probably had a real problem with that. And then it's like you got somebody coming with the new information to try to bring it in here, and you having an issue with that.
Yeah. I had so many project ideas I wanted to do, and they literally had a folder for every topic, and they did the same thing for every topic. Girl, these people were still doing crossword puzzle, a vocabulary crossword puzzle. Then they took notes, a notes outline that the kids had to fill in. Then they'll watch a video and fill out like a diagram or something. And I was like, y'all got to be kidding me. So they rotated. They be like, who gonna do the planning this week? Well, what planning boiled down to was basically taking the folder for that topic and making sure you had enough copies for everybody who teach the same subject as you.
It wasn't ready for you.
I was like, is these people for real? So they did me a favor, but when I look at the schools that they said go to, okay, it was nothing but 3 Black schools, but they did me a huge favor because the school I chose was an amazing school. So when I was in the Waffle House Friday morning, and my same waitress who I always talk to, I don't know how it came up. Oh, because she was asking me like how to spell your name again, because she always write my name on the ticket. I was telling her, and she was like, uh, I gotta get better at sounding out people's names. You know, she said, because people get offended when you ask them how to spell their name. I said, well, girl, you know, after teaching for so many years, I can probably sound out just about any name because I've seen every kind of name.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the guy sitting at the counter, and he asked me, where did you teach? And I told him where I taught, Campbell High School. And he just started raving about how much he loved Campbell when his kids went there. And we just talked about how great of a school it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Sprayberry, they really thought they was doing something when they got rid of me, but I flourished at Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
It was majority Black, but they also had an IB magnet program. So it was a mixed school. And I would say in Cobb County, probably one of the most diverse schools because Cobb is very, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But Campbell, because of the IB program, had a good mix, and the kids used to mix well together. And
what's IB?
International Baccalaureate.
Oh, okay.
So the kids would graduate with a internationally recognized diploma.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah, amazing. But yeah, now that I think about it, that was racist as hell. But that's what it was. They had a normative identity, and I never knew there was terms for any of that. They just call it not being a team player. She's not a good fit for us.
No, you like the girl that my girlfriend that just got married. I call her my square peg in a round hole because she ain't gonna fit nowhere to do nothing. Like she's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So that's what I call her, my little square peg in a round hole. So when she starts getting frustrated, she gets frustrated because people don't understand her. I keep reminding her, you are a square peg. You disrupt things.
Yeah.
You know, you cause problems. You shift people's ideas about what they're doing. That's who you are. So stop getting frustrated. You're a square peg. That's just what it is. It's too many round holes out here. You ain't gonna fit there, but you're gonna make your presence known wherever you are. And they just gotta adjust themselves. Don't worry about that. This girl, they told her she wouldn't get married. People actually told her a man would not marry her, would not want her because of her who she was. Because she has a little bit more male, she has a little bit more testosterone female than she does, you know, estrogen. So she moves in that kind of way. And they tell her, you need to soften up, you need to do this, you need to do it. And I tell her, no, whatever you got going on, a man is, and the husband that she has now, that's the very thing he loves about her.
Yeah.
I said, you don't change for nobody. What are you doing? Stop it. Wow. Just stop it. Stop it.
Girl, people.
How you gonna tell somebody they can't get married? How you gonna tell somebody a man don't want them? What is wrong with you? Why are you doing that?
Well, child, one of my ex-boyfriends told me my mouth was too smart. He told me that I probably wasn't gonna get me. Well, he didn't say I wasn't gonna get married, but he was just like, that's why I'm not gonna marry you. Your mouth is too smart.
Well, that's him. He couldn't handle it. But
yeah, he was like, your mouth, he was like, and it's so funny because I said something to Virgil about that one time. Like, you know, this guy told me I have a smart mouth. Like, my mouth is too smart, and I always have to have the last word. And Virgil said to me, he was like, I love how you put your words together. That's why I always ask you to send out emails for me. So it's like one person can see it one way and another person can see it in a totally different, like what he considered, you know, was a deficit. Virgil's like, oh shit, she's quick with her words. She's good with responses.
Exactly.
She can
but
help
you
me
know why? Because your husband is secure about who he is. He's not threatened by you. That's what it all boiled down to.
Girl, that's funny.
And listen, it don't look like Virgil Blaze is threatened by nobody, not even Virgil Blaze. Mr. Blaze is not threatened by nobody.
That thing is everywhere he go, Anita.
Listen, when I met him that first time, I was like, okay, they are a very good fit. Because I'm like, Mr. Blaze ain't threatened by nothing and nobody. Nothing. Even when he get down on himself, he have to do what he need to do to get himself back up. So I'm like, look.
And he will tell you out of his own mouth, I have a Napoleon complex, so I'm going to assert myself in every room I go into. He'll tell you that.
He knows that. See that?
He will tell you.
No, y'all look great together. When I sat there and watched y'all, I'm like, these two need to get something going together, because
I know I want my husband to do a reality show with me so bad. He don't want to do it.
He would be so perfect though. Like, to see y'all that day, watch it, that was so encouraging for me to see y'all working like that, to both of y'all coaching me that day when he sat down with you. That was really good. That was good. Yeah. And you see it's like I saw the respect that you have for him. You allow him to be in his own space doing his thing, and he in turn does the same thing to you, and y'all really work well together. That was awesome. But yeah, everybody ain't for everybody. That's just it.
No, they ain't, child. And I'm just whoever didn't want me, I sure do appreciate you not want me.
I know that's right.
There it is. Next week, actually, the 31st.
What's next week?
My anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that's on Saturday.
No, that's actually not next week.
That's this week coming.
Girl, you see how sentimental we are. Barely. He probably don't even know. He probably has no idea, Anita.
Oh, wow.
He'll be like, girl, we've been married 20 years. You expect me to still remember that? I'm like, Virgil, it's been 7. What are you talking about? Well, it feel like 20.
I'm thinking to myself, dang, 20 years Dr. Blaze, that's all y'all. Oh, it's too funny.
Okay, well, I have to say though, your summarization is like, it's on point. Yes, Master. It's on point.
I'm excited about it. I am. You want me to keep going, or do you want to? Because it's already 7:30. I didn't know how your time was moving.
Oh, well, I actually want to have time to, I do want to go back and read it, because now that my brain is putting all the pieces together, these are the articles that we had talked about them before.
Yes.
You had already highlighted the stuff.
I did.
And then I came back and made some recommendations. And then you had said, do you want me to apply the summarization technique? And then you had applied it.
I did.
That's clicked in my mind that these were not new articles. So now that I am putting all these pieces together,
yes,
I do want to do an in-depth read of this.
Okay.
So I can put it in a broader context.
Okay.
So,
and then can I just say this real quick? This is a snip from one of the articles, okay?
Okay.
And this is the summary of that snip. I don't know. I felt like I needed to put that in there so that you can see, but I explained it inside. I gave you an explanation of what this is.
And you put this whole big thing, you made it one bullet.
I made it this.
Okay, got it. Okay.
This is the name of the, I think this is under the section that it is. I think that's what this is.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I made it this. So just to let you know that, oh yeah, I wrote everything in here because I knew you was gonna have to read it. So I just wrote what all of this meant and where it was. Look at me pointing like you can see. I wrote all of this in where it was on the article. I put notes on sticky notes so you can know why I did this here.
Okay.
Because my idea was that you was going to be doing this by yourself and I wasn't going to be there. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Now that I realize that this is the follow-up, I definitely need to give this
Yeah.
a more in-depth read. So I will do that. Now, if you
Okay.
want to go ahead and we're still under which theme?
Teacher prep programs.
Because we got a lot of more themes that we
Yes.
through.
Yes.
And that's not to say we won't continue adding to this one. But I think now that you have a good grasp on how to summarize and how to bring in stuff from different articles and put it in one thing, and not relying on those direct quotes.
Right.
I think it's safe for you to go ahead and start pulling stuff for your other themes, because we don't want September to come and we haven't done a deeper dive into those yet.
Right.
And I think doing that deeper dive into those will also strengthen your 10 points, because again, when you're having to give her 10 points, which really, the more I think about it, I don't know why it comes before doing all of this research, because the 10 points is like a summary of what to expect in this whole research study. And if you haven't done enough in-depth research, how can you summarize something?
And I think they're doing it backwards. I think they want to see where our thinking is going before we do the other part. But then you put so much emphasis on the 10 points, you can't move forward till you get the 10 points done. So it's really backwards.
Yeah, I almost think that,
and that's why they were, for a long time, they were, because it used to be 10 points, then perspectives. And everybody, now they took out the perspectives. You go straight from the 10 points into your, whatever that other one is, whatever that next one is. What is it called? It's not the perspective.
Is it proposal?
Proposal. You go from the 10 points to the proposal. You used to do 10 points, and what we're doing right now was the perspectives. And then they took the perspectives and the 10 points and they sent you into your proposal. And when that was a long drawn out process. So we're actually doing the proposal part that they took out. So what she's trying to do is get my ideas from the 10 points, and they're trying to say, okay, well, the 10 points is enough. Now you're ready for your proposal. But it's almost like, do the proposal to the 10 point. I mean, do the proposal to the, do the perspectives to the proposal, and leave the 10 points alone.
I think the 10 points to me, and when I think 10 points, that means I'm giving you the highlights. But how can I highlight something if I haven't done enough research in it? That's right. Just how But I think with us still doing this, it's going to help your 10 points. I think it's going to help you be able to better express in the 10 points where you're going with your study. I think a huge problem we were having before is that you weren't familiar enough with the research. So then when she keep coming back to you with stuff, you're like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
And you didn't have really a defense. But now that you have read more articles and you're starting to synthesize things, I think that's going to make that easier for you.
Yeah.
So I want us to go ahead and start tackling some of the other themes, because we don't want September to come and we not have sufficient research for those.
Right. Okay. All righty. So I dropped those articles. Everything that I use here, I dropped them. I'm still not clear on how I need to write it. I think when I start writing them, I think I'll become clear on it. I think right now I'm just connecting ideas. So I'm gonna let my head be okay with just connecting ideas.
You still trying to figure out what the whole big paper?
Yeah, I'm still there, but I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'm gonna go ahead and go into my other themes, and I'm gonna do it this way, and then I'm gonna let Dr. Blaze lead me into that other place. I'm not gonna try to go there by myself because I'm not trying to be discouraged right now. So
Yes, I really appreciate it. Yeah. Just
that was not my job. That's
one thing with you, honey, you do good on something and then you be ready to jump.
Yeah.
Please sit in it, Anita. Sit in the accomplishment, sit in the I understand this.
Yeah.
Especially when you know that this lit review got how many other things that you need to do the same thing for.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't ready.
Exactly.
I mean, you done showed out on this, but
that's it. Go sit down, little girl.
Please rinse and repeat this process.
Got you.
For the remainder of your themes, and you should be able to get through those a little bit quicker.
Okay.
Because we took the time to dive into these.
Okay. So that's what I'll work on. It was so funny. I was sitting here doing this and I hadn't picked up my cards. And I started feeling bad I just started feeling bad because I didn't pick up my cards. And I went to shuffling through the cards. I'm like, what are you doing? Just stay where you at and come back to that later. You ain't forget about the cards, girl. This is just, I had to talk myself off the edge.
Yeah, please.
Can you just leave them cards alone? You okay?
It is okay to realize that a practice, and it could be a good practice. And okay, those worked well for me 2 months ago when I was struggling to organize my thoughts. But now I'm in this place. And it doesn't make me bad in that area if I put that to the side now.
Yeah.
That's a part of that growth process. And like you said, you owned this process. So now you sit in this. And then if 2 weeks from now you be like, oh, now I thought of another way to organize or a better way to synthesize, there'll be nothing wrong with that at that point either.
Yeah, that's
more all of what's gonna make you the scholar.
Got it.
And the expert in your research.
Yeah, this is more than just writing a paper. This is really this is a whole life experience. It's like when I was growing my hair into locks. That wasn't just me growing my hair into locks. It was really dealing with some inside stuff that I had going on while these locks was getting themselves together. And I was going through this whole identity thing with my hair and all of that. So this is just more than writing a paper. I'm really finding out, other parts of me that I didn't think that I could do, because I was sitting here when I'm like, who wrote that? Like, I can when, because, when I first started this program, I had a professor tell me, this was one of my Black professors. She was a female. She said, because we were going, and my writing was horrible. It was so all over the place. It kind of sounded like that first sticky note. It was just everywhere. And instead of her encouraging me, she was like, I was only a year in. She's like, you can't write. You need to reconsider doing this dissertation. This may not be for you. This may be too advanced for you. Black woman.
Wow.
I was sitting in a coffee shop and this lady is going in on me. I'm in the middle of a divorce. My kids acting crazy. My lights about to get turned off. And I'm trying to do a dissertation program and I'm thinking I'm doing something. And she leaned into me. I sat there and I cried for about 20 minutes. Then I got myself together and I literally said, fuck her. And I went in there and I did what I needed to do. I went into the classes to get the writing thing together and I turned in my next paper and I got an A on it. Yes. Like, yeah, bitch, you ain't finna tell me what I can't have.
Yeah.
And I knew Jesus and everything on that, but that thing hurt me. Yeah. And I think it hurt me because it was a Black woman. And it's just a better way. How you gonna tell me I'm not worthy of this degree?
When you
sitting there. You sitting there. And I get it that my writing was all over the place and it probably should have been on another level. but you know, I just ain't have it.
That's why you in the program. People don't come into the program knowing all of that. That's what the program is for.
Exactly.
If that was the case, Anita, people would just write a dissertation on their own and turn it in. If, you know, you wouldn't go through.
And these were the prerequisites. These were the courses where you get ready to, what do you call them? Where you get ready to start writing. Mm-hmm. You know, I had just come from my master's. I didn't, unlike everybody else, I didn't have to do a math in your master's program. You have to do a thesis. I didn't have to do that.
Right.
So I didn't have that hardcore writing. Mine was mostly studying, reading articles, doing presentations and things like that, because my master's was in science elementary. So it wasn't, I didn't have to do the thesis and all of that. I didn't. So when I came in and she did that, and one thing you're not going to do is you're not going to tell me what I can't have. You ain't finna do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that. So I literally did that, and I turned in the rest of my time, I turned in my papers, and I didn't want to talk to that lady no more. She had me crying in public. I like, girl. Wow. I mean, she leaned into me. You're not your writing isn't doctoral studies worthy, and you're not this, and you need to do this, and you might need to reconsider something else. And who is you, little brown girl?
Wow. See, I had a white professor, a white male professor, do that to me. My first course in my master's program, he did. He was like, and mind you, I'm coming off of nothing less than like a 97 on a paper in undergrad. I know I was a good writer, always have been. But in that program, it wasn't narrative writing like a language arts class. Right. It was technical writing, because it was essentially writing for engineers kind of like thing. So I had never done that type of writing before.
Right.
So I failed the paper miserably. And that's what he told me. Well, first of all, he hated the fact that I wasn't, I didn't have a bachelor's in engineering. So, and I didn't work in an engineering field.
How did he know that?
I think maybe we had introduced ourselves, or maybe he had been one of the professors that like reviewed the applications to admit people into the program. Okay. Maybe he didn't think I deserved to be admitted, but I had the GPA. And I think you had to write a paper to get in, which is ironic. Yeah, you did have to write a paper to get in. So I wrote good enough to get in here, but now you don't think, you know. So anyway. He was outvoted. That's what it was. He didn't want me in the program. So he said to me, your writing is not up to par. Those were his words. And I think you should reconsider. This program is probably not for you. This program is for people in the engineering field. And basically, you're taking up space from an engineering candidate who could have been in this program. So this thing, now that we're saying all of this, probably because I was a non-engineer, Black female, she holding space that somebody else was supposed to have. And I was a high school science teacher. Child, I am a STEM major. This is a STEM school. This is what I said to him. I came to ask you what I need to do differently on my next paper. I said, because dropping out of the program is not even, I can tell you right now, I ain't finna do that. Right. That conversation can end right here. I said to him, well, I'm not dropping out of the program, so we don't even need to discuss that part. But as far as what I can do to improve the paper, if we could just spend this time talking about that part, that's what I'm interested in. And girl, instead of just being like, do this, do that, honey, you got to go in a whole tirade about, and if this was, this is, you know, like all of these. Right. Child, how to fix it. That's what I asked you. Right. All of that. Girl, wrote that paper. The next one, I think I got a A or a high B, whatever I got. It was something that he didn't think my ass
He didn't
was
think you
gonna
could
get,
do right.
but I got it.
Right.
And I made sure I came to his class because back then, honey, you still had to go on campus for your classes. But that was the first hybrid program I took. Some of my classes were on campus and some of them were online, but that one was in person. I came to class, every class, no matter how tired I was from teaching. I don't care. I came. Girl, I would try to raise my hand and participate. This motherfucker would not call on me. He'll act like he ain't see me. He never, really treated me like he treated others. And it couldn't have been a black thing because there were other black women in my class, but either they worked as engineers or they worked in the technical writing field.
He had a problem with you not being an engineer. He didn't think you was worthy of that.
Because he treated them. Now that I think about it, this other black girl who worked as a instructional designer for an engineering firm. Oh, he used to could eat her shit, child. He loved her so much. So he just hated the fact that I was non-traditional for that program. But I end up getting either a low A or a high B overall out of the class.
Right.
But he never, he would never change his attitude towards me, which just goes to prove like people are gonna put you in whatever box they want to put you in, and you can't do anything to change that. But girl, I went on to take other classes that his ass was teaching. Walk up in there just to see him get irritated when I walk in.
He don't know what he did.
Be like, hey, Dr.
Dayton. He don't know what he did. That's what you can't tell me what I can't have. You can't.
Girl, I knew so I could send his ass. Girl, I would love to send him just a copy of my dissertation. We both doctors now.
Right.
How about that?
You probably gonna meet up with him somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
Our paths cross. And the funny thing is, one of my best friends, she actually worked in the technical writing field as well. And once she learned about me being in the program, she was like, do you mind if I apply to the program? And I'm like, why would I mind?
Right.
But some women have that thing like, don't get in my space. Don't try to do the same thing I'm doing. Right. I'm getting this degree. I was like, no, I want you to come. There needs to be more of us in this program so they can see shit. We in here too.
Exactly.
When I tell you, when she got in the program, and because she was a technical writer, girl, that was her favorite professor. They was like, buddy, used to talk and joke and shit. I'd be like, girl, I can't stand that motherfucker. That's your friend. Girl, she loved him so much, and he could just eat her up. So that's what it is, Anita.
Yeah.
He didn't respect me because I wasn't in the field, so to speak.
That's very interesting that people had their own, I don't know.
But anyway, girl, I wish we had these people information so when you finish,
right,
just send her a hot little copy
of everything, because it was just like that lady leaned into me. So I mean, and I think that's why I get so intimidated by my professors and my chairs, because I feel like I don't know enough. Because that's the seed that was planted when I came into the program. And when I start talking, it's just like I don't have any kind of expertise on nothing. And they're the ones that's the expert. But after doing this, I think that's gonna change when I start.
Yeah, it is gonna change.
And I can fight for my words and fight for my ideas of what I'm doing. So when Dr. Watley come in and say, this is not aligned, I can actually say, why isn't it aligned? And can you tell me what you're looking for it to be aligned, and don't regurgitate what you put in your little note that is not making any sense to me.
Exactly. And that's why the whole idea of, get into your research, keep reading, that's the whole thing. Because they're only an expert in what they personally know.
Right. Oh. And instead of saying, explain to me, like you said here, like we did this bullet here, and you said, well, are you saying this, or this, or are you saying that? And that helped me to go ahead and express where I was really coming from, able to help me say that in a way that I was, what I really meant. And that's kind of what I was expecting from Dr. Watley, instead of just telling me something that's on the GCU guideline. This is not aligned because it doesn't match this. You didn't even ask me what I was trying to say. But now I don't need her to ask me that, because now I can ask her, you know, you tell me it's not aligned. I can say to her, well, I'm saying this, this, and this. How is that not aligned? You know, so now I can do that where I didn't have the confidence to do that before.
Yeah, yeah. Now you can feel empowered to
Right. Because she was killing me with that. And I'm like, but I know that's what I said, but I just took her word for it, you know.
And here's the thing, Anita. She honestly don't know enough about STEM education to even be putting you in no boxes. I could tell she didn't know enough about STEM education by some of the stuff she was coming back asking you.
Okay. Well, that's where I'm gonna keep working with this. The other thing I needed to do, you told me to look into the SWOT and I didn't, so I'm gonna do that as well. I can't remember. I gotta go back on the notes and see.
Oh yeah, that SWOT chart from
yeah, you told me to look into that. And then there's a normative identity, not normative identity. There's a chart also on it's the exploring the role of identity. Is this, I don't know if you can, and this article is in there. And I actually use pieces of this article, this model inside of my paraphrase thing. That's from exploring the role of identity in elementary school.
Yeah,
that's
I think
down
I
here.
remember seeing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that comes from. I just thought it was, and that's why I started putting my pieces together, like connecting my ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much where I'm at with that.
I think you're really shaping up into a good researcher.
Thank you.
I think you understand now that research is not just looking up articles, but
I am
really connecting ideas between what one person thinks, another person thinks, and then, finding a way to make that meet in the middle. I think you're really kind of, and dare I say that you enjoy these things that you're reading.
I do. I am. I do. And I'm like, I really like this. Like, sometimes I just wish it could just stick in my head. I'll get up and just read the article that I read before because I just like the information that's in the article. I didn't really think that I would like, but I'm not one to like professional development. So, I don't know. Maybe I just like learning. But
no, that's good. And I see you kind of thinking of ideas of how this applies in your own practice. When we were going over one of the examples before, you said, yeah, I felt that way. So the fact that you can make this relatable to a personal level, I think that's really going to help you as well. And you have so much experience that you're in the field and you've done this work. So, you should never let anybody, just because they already have finished their dissertation or they already have been, just because they're a dissertation chair, nobody can or nobody should be able to make you feel like you don't have whatever level of expertise and knowledge, because you do this work every day, Anita.
Yeah, I'm learning that. I'm not just, I had to get out of that thing. I think being with you, I've learned to get out of that thing of I'm just a teacher. That's what I use. I used to say I'm just a teacher, but I'm not. I was sitting down with one of the team members yesterday writing the science curriculum for the district. And we were going through stuff. And I'm like, no, I really can do this stuff. Like, she even stopped in the middle of doing something. And she was like, well, what do you think about this? And I just started spitting out stuff. And I had surprised my own self. And she was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm like, you know what? You do this stuff. You could do this. Like, I don't know. I think working with you has really put me in that place, and my confidence is coming up of, no, you're more than just a teacher. You on a level. I think I'm more than what I putting myself out there to be. Like I have more than what I'm putting out there to be.
Yes.
That I have. I think I do. And I don't know, it's just getting the confidence and being okay with that. You know.
Yeah, well, I think it's gonna continue. And then when you actually finish, I think that's gonna do something else for you too. So
Yeah, it's probably, yeah. I'm thinking that too. I would be like, girl, can you go and be like Cynthia? I don't know if you know about my friend Cynthia, but Cynthia be on this whole level of confidence that when she get it, you can't sit her butt down. She going
right.
for it no matter what, because all she need is her and Jesus, or Jesus and her, and she fine.
No, this is the thing about Cynthia will step to any organization and be like, I'm finna do this, and this is what I need y'all to help me. She will. She will step to you, honey.
I have no friend like that in my life. We would go international and we would be traveling and Cynthia won't know something. She don't care. Excuse me, sir. I need you to come over here and do blah, blah, blah. And we would go places and people would, we were in not Nigeria. We were in I can't remember what the country was in Africa. We were somewhere and she was fussing at the man and she said, now you have daughters, don't you? Would you want your daughters, if your daughter was out here like we are, would you want people to be treating them any kind of way? No, sir, you would not. So I need you to I'm like, Cynthia. But that by the time we finished, that man had taken us where we needed to go. He had made sure that the people who needed to take care of us took care of us. And he didn't know us from nobody based on what Cynthia had done. She owns wherever she is. She owns it. Like you gonna do. And you just sit back and just watch her.
Yeah, it takes that.
She own it. She don't care what language you speak. She don't care what. We was over there in UAE. And those Arabs would start on her. And one of the Arab men came in the room and told her she's a really good teacher, but she talks so loud. And she said, well, I'm an American. She said, I'm a Black American woman. That's how we talk. She said, your women talk like this. But you see, she said, that doesn't mean anything because your child know how to read in English now, right? So that's what my loud talking did. Like, she don't care. She owns whatever space she in, she own it.
Yeah.
She own it. So that's my friend. I need people like that in my life so I can own my space.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yep. So that's why I always tell her, I say, when I grow up, I'm gonna be just like you. Yeah. So next week, I'm not next week, week after next, I guess. Oh, I start work. Not that it means a whole lot, but I think I start work on the 9th, but that's neither here nor there. I just want to be ready for September. So,
all right. So does that mean it's meeting on the 8th? Or
can we do the 15th and the 29th?
The 15th and the 29th, okay.
Because if you say the 8th, let me see. Oh, I got all of this week though. No. The 8th is fine. Okay. I don't have any PDs. Yeah, the 8th is fine. Dr. Blaze, is it possible for us to meet 3 times this month? I mean, in August. Is that possible for you?
Let me see. You want to do the 8th, the 15th,
the 8th, the 22nd, and 29th.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Yeah, because my schedule ain't full yet.
Okay. And I'm thinking the 29th when we meet, because at some point, I mean, I don't know when I'm gonna tell them in September. Maybe I can tell them I'll start on the 16th of September. Or maybe the 9th.
Just go ahead. That's good that you want to squeeze in 3 appointments for September. I mean, for August, because September is going to be a rocking month for me.
For you? Okay.
Yeah. So Virgil and I, we have, and you know, we don't play often. So when we play, we play.
Right.
So September is pretty much going to be a party month for us. On
Okay.
the 5th, we going to the Mark Anthony concert. Girl, I got to find me the right dress because you got to have on.
Where is he? That's my anniversary. Where is he on the 5th?
In Atlanta.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's my anniversary on the 5th.
Okay, so we doing that. And then the 15th through the 20th, we're going to Jamaica.
Okay.
So yeah, September is going to be.
So will we be able to meet in September?
You might get me, you probably gonna have to get me on the 12th of September. And I'm going ahead and penciling this down.
Yeah, because what I'll do if I get you on the 12th, then I'm going to go ahead and tell them I'll start on the 23rd.
Okay.
So then by that time on the 12th, that week, that means I need to have my 10 points in place because I guess I won't be seeing you again until October.
So the August 29th session needs to be a straight work session.
Okay.
Of writing the 10 points.
Okay.
So that means all of this summarization that we've done.
Right.
You need to work on that for all of your themes between now and then.
Okay.
Of course, you probably don't need to. Of course, you still got time to write your lit review, so you don't have to do the whole thing.
Right.
But I think you need to go through this for each theme enough that you have a stronger handle on it, so that when you do the 10 points, we can better capture.
Right.
You know. So for September, we said we're gonna do the September 12th. And then we probably can do, if you start school on the 23rd, will there be something for us to meet about on the 26th of September?
Probably not, because that's just me turning in my 10 points. That's just me and Dr. Watley or whoever I got.
All right, so we'll tentatively plan then for the next one to be October 3rd.
Okay.
And then I think that's as far out as we need to go at this point.
Okay, so we got the
what, they be talking about when you get back in school.
Right. Because then that's a whole nother kind of schedule.
Right.
When I get back in school. So we may have to just, okay, so wait, let me do this first. So I got you on the 8th, the 22nd, and the 29th of August.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then the 12th. Okay. And since we meet 3 times in August, that means that's September. Okay, got it. All right, and then I start school on 23rd. Hopefully okay. Dr. Blaze, don't forget your CV.
Girl.
I know.
It's a mess. It is such a mess. Who can help me do it? Who can help me fix it?
Oh, did my daughter send you her website? She never sent it.
No,
Okay, I gotta do. She got her first contract.
Yay!
Yep. So I'm definitely gonna send it to you. She had to go in and revamp. A guy took her money, $500 to do a website, and he took her money. She's learning. So she ended up going on GoDaddy and putting her own website together. And but she got her first contract with a it's a company out of Palm Bay, and they deal with sending therapists into homes to work with autistic kids. Kind of like what Cynthia does.
Okay.
And it's a small, yeah. So she got her first contract with them. And I was like, okay, because she went in just to be an administrative assistant. And then they told her, we can only pay, we're not going to pay you with a W-2, we're going to do a W-9. She was like, oh, so you could pay my company. And they were like, you have a company. And she went in, she told them about it. They were like, oh yeah, we'll contract you out. So
Nice.
yeah. But
Nice.
I'm gonna definitely tell her to send it to you, so you can see, even if you can't use it, maybe you have friends that can use her services, because she's good at what she does. She's really good.
Yes.
I was talking to her the other day. I'm like, how do you know that? Where'd you get that from?
Actually, do you know Dr. Shiva Quinn?
Yes.
She is
I follow her.
Someone.
Really?
She had asked me to find her somebody in the Philippines, like the two girls that my husband and I have.
Mm-hmm.
But the girl's resume didn't, you know, it didn't stack up, you know.
Okay.
But I know Shiva is looking for someone to assist her fully.
Okay.
So
and she's okay with virtual?
Yeah, she wants somebody virtual.
Okay, well, definitely.
I'm going to connect. I'm gonna send a message right now while I got you to you and Shiva.
Okay. She said that the company.
That's right, because that's how we all got connected. You was on the call.
Yes, right. Exactly. Right. And I was like, oh no, I need that lady in my life. Yes. Yeah, she said the lady told her they went through 90 applications, but you know what got them? She put her picture on her application. Nice. She put her picture on her application, and her application stood out from the rest. So yeah. But I will definitely, send me Dr. Quinn's info, and I'm gonna forward it to my daughter, and she can go for that.
I'm sending you and Dr. Quinn a message on Messenger. Okay. And then y'all can just respond to that, and then y'all can get together about who gonna send who what. Got you. What. But honey, I don't did my part. I done sent the message. Yeah. Ain't worry about them nails now. I done sent my little right. Hopefully that can work out, because Dr. Quinn is she's asked me a couple of times, like, I never used nobody in the Philippines. Y'all need to help me find somebody. But the little girl that my husband's assistant sent, it just didn't shake out. Yeah. And honey, she can't have my girl in the Philippines. She ain't getting her. So not even. I know that's right. I know that's right. So yeah. So, Dr. Quinn is cool. Her baby girls. I follow them. They are amazing. They are amazing. They are amazing. Yeah. All right, Anita. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for your feedback and what I need to work on, and I'm gonna probably go put my head back on the pillow because I'm still tired, and then I'm gonna get up later on and eat. You mentioned Waffle House. That sounds good right now. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to the Waffle House as well, because I got a lot of real estate homework to work on. Got one more week of class, and then it'll be testing. I'm gonna be confident I'm gonna pass, because the last time I took it, I didn't pass. You got it, Dr. Blaze. This is yours. It's time. I did it years ago, like with my eyes closed. But them 20-something brains is different than them 40-something brains. Girl, and we gonna get it this time. And wait till they get to the 50-something brain, and you trying to do. That's why anybody gonna be able to tell me nothing. I'm like, I did this at 53. Do y'all understand that? Have I talked about my stepmama? No. She's passed now, but she went back to college in her 40s. Mm-hmm. She went full on campus undergrad. She pledged, and she did not want to get the degree and pledge a grad chapter. So in her 40s, she went online with girls 19 and early 20-something. Aww. And she actually pledged as an undergrad in her 40s.
Oh,
She did that.
that's awesome.
She did. And
That's
she
awesome.
said she wanted the undergraduate experience. And she said, Quita, I was old enough to be them girl mama, but I said I was gonna keep up with them, and she did. So I just always commend people who do what they want to do, regardless of whatever.
Exactly. I was reading this article about this lady. I think she was 90 something years old. And she didn't have the opportunity to go in a store to try on her wedding dress or wear the wedding dress of her dreams. At 96, she went back to that store. She found the wedding dress, took the pictures in the wedding dress. And she was 90 something years old, because back then they wouldn't let Black people try on dresses. They wouldn't let them come into the store. Oh, and she always wanted to do that. And she went into the store and she did that at 90 something years old in her beautiful wedding dress. So yeah, when you see people that get the opportunity to do things that they didn't get a chance to do when they were younger for whatever reason, that's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, all right.
Okay.
I'll get you your notes later on. Anita, if you don't get them now, I think last time I said them real good last time.
You did. I say, okay, Dr. Blaze, I see you, girl.
I'm gonna try to send them real good this time.
No, I'm gonna, if I don't see them,
say something.
Yeah, if I don't see them when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm sending you a text, because I can't do that no more. I have to, we got to work together, because I got to get this, we got to do stuff the right way.
The same way I want my stuff in timely manner, you want yours too. So say something.
I will say something.
All right, Anita.
Okay, have a good one. Enjoy your Waffle House, and I'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right, bye.